What? I don't think it's enough quite yet, just with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Obviously, they're better.
Really?
I don't think it's it's not a championship team right now.
2 of the top 5 players in the league.
Okay, then I've seen this before with the Heat.
They won 2 championships.
They did win 2 championships, but let's be real.
3 of the
Let's
top
be
5.
real. They really won 1.
Oh, jeez.
They really only won 1. They did. They beat OKC. They should not have beat the Spurs.
They did.
They did because of Ray Allen's ridiculous shot and Kawhi Leonard and Manu Ginobili missed free throws.
And the point, they still won.
They were on the ropes. They weren't that great. That Miami Heat team really wasn't that great. They weren't. They were beatable. They got beaten twice. They got destroyed by Dallas. Okay? They should not have beaten San Antonio, and the next year got waxed by San Antonio, 4-1. Just waxed them off the court. It was embarrassing. You're staring at me right now like super crazy.
I kind of see both sides of this. I never thought I'd see a LeBron guy say that. But yeah,
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be real. That Heat team had so many holes. They weren't that great.
But it does.
They had 3 great players. The rest sucked. There was no bench. Nobody.
And it was Ray Allen.
Until Ray Allen. But Ray wasn't on the bench, was he?
No, he
was on the bench.
Did he come off the bench?
Yeah.
Okay, he was the only one off the bench. Who else they had?
I don't know.
Mario Chalmers was not that good.
Good glue
He
guys.
wasn't that good. Mario Chalmers was not that good.
Juwan Howard.
Who? The guy that couldn't stop crying at his press conference because he's coaching Michigan now.
Hey, man, don't hit on that now.
Man.
That's an emotional moment.
It's emotional on my butt. They're going to lose.
No, they're not.
Yeah, Michigan State going to beat them.
When did you become a Tom Izzo fan?
I'm not. I just wanted to throw some fake shade.
Let me just say this. Okay. Yeah, they got to get pieces around them. Duh. All right. But the important thing is you have 2 of the top 5 players in the league.
That's a good start. You're going to be there. That's what I'm saying.
They're going to be there. They're automatically there.
But it's not quite enough yet, in my opinion.
Who's going to beat them?
Gold State.
Who's going to beat them?
I tend to think it's going to be Denver.
Really?
Denver took a big step. They were just young. Portland.
I'm sorry.
Portland's still there.
Denver's good. Portland's good.
Yeah,
I've got LeBron,
who's 150 years old.
Hold on. I've got if he was out this past year, he was hurt. Okay, he didn't play as many games as he normally does,
and he's not going to play 82 games anymore. It just can't happen. He's too old.
Obviously, he's not going to do that. So he's going to pace himself for what? The playoffs, like he always does.
Okay,
and he cuts this switch on where he becomes hashtag strive for greatness.
I think he still can. LeBron. I still think he has that. There's some that are fearing that LeBron's not going to be LeBron no more. Stop it. Stop it. That's not true. You're lying. You're lying to yourself. Right? It's not quite yet. It's going to happen.
This man 2 years ago. I mean, let's just think about this. All right. If he carried the team that he had 2 years ago, now granted it was in the East, I get it. Okay. But their second best player, third best player was George Hill, who's decent, right? He's decent. Okay.
I'd say J.R. Smith, but keep going.
J.R. was the
J.R. was streaky.
If J.R. was hot, it was good for LeBron.
J.R. could be your best player,
right?
And then he could be your worst player.
Right. But he could have won game 1 of the finals. He should have won if
J.R.
was paying attention. But anyway, or George Hill hits the free throws. George Hill hits the free throws.
Oh, we're talking about free throws now being a big deal, huh?
Right. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
They only lost in 6 games.
Yeah.
But
actually, they got swept that year.
I mean,
they lost to 5.
For LeBron,
can't even remember.
Not to be playoff LeBron anymore, I'm just going to have to see it.
No, he's still playoff LeBron. It's still going to happen.
So I have playoff LeBron. Then I have a guy like Anthony Davis who, hasn't had a whole lot of success in the playoffs, but look who he's been playing with. Right. And look who he's been playing against. I get it. They got swept by Portland, all right, a couple years ago. They didn't make the playoffs this past year because they didn't play a whole lot. But the year before, they were playing Golden State, and they got swept, and they were the 8th seed. And his second best player has been Drew Holiday. Now he's the second best player, and their best player is LeBron James. So I'm excited to see just how far they get because I really believe. So they got what they're going to do with this space they have now with I think it's 24 million in cap space they have.
Yeah, there's not much, and they have to fill in 5 or 6 guys.
It's really important what they do. They need to understand.
They can't get another max.
No, we don't need to go get Kemba. We don't need to go get Kyrie. We don't need to go get another. Yeah, we don't need to go get another one of those players. We need to find
second-tier players.
Right.
Yeah, somebody like a Danny Green.
If they do that, it's going to get real.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like right now, right this second, LeBron and AD with this roster they have. First off, they got to complete it. And there's concern with me. Here's why. And I've said this before. I don't know what's going to happen with Anthony Davis. Look at all the other big men that LeBron has played with in his career. He's completely changed their game. Chris Bosh even has been on record saying it is so difficult as a forward to play with LeBron because you have to change your game. Why? Because LeBron James is going to sit in the block and do what he does. Create attention, fire the ball out to the wing if he needs to. If he's got a 1-1 look, he's going to destroy that person. It's over. He's too big, too strong. It's done. Out of transition, the same thing. What happens to these big guys? They simply become catch-and-shoot guys. Can Anthony Davis hit those shots? Yes. But is he a catch-and-shoot guy? No. Is Kevin Love a catch-and-shoot guy? No. Can he hit the shots? Yes. Can Chris Bosh hit the shots? Yes. But where were those guys at their best when they got the ball in the post? They lose post touches because of LeBron. They have to change their game. And I think part of that is going to happen again to AD. It might affect him. It's not going to be awful. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm not going to say that AD is not at an all-star level. But is AD going to be as good as AD has been being just a catch-and-shoot guy?
Well, I want to say this, too. With those two players you mentioned, with Kevin Love outside of a couple years ago and Chris Bosh, there's always been a third superstar.
Right.
Now, if they fill this roster out and they go get a guy like Danny Green and they go fill in, and who knows,
JJ Redick. Just give LeBron JJ. Please give JJ Redick to LeBron. Just do it.
They'll probably go sign Kyle Korver or somebody like that. They fill this roster out. They don't get another superstar. I want to see how LeBron's going to play because you don't have a third superstar. And so AD is going to be dependent upon more than he would be if let's say, they go get Kyrie. I don't know how in the world they do it. They create the cap space. They clear out their entire roster, sign a bunch of guys to the league minimum, and they have Kyrie, AD, and LeBron. AD is obviously going to be the third option now because Kyrie's a guy who needs to have the ball in his hands. LeBron is obviously a guy who needs to have the ball in his hands. And so Anthony Davis is the odd man out. I think go ahead.
Keep going. Sorry.
Well, I just think that if they just keep these two superstars and then fill the roster out and they do the smart thing,
it could be different.
It could be different, and because LeBron is a little bit of a different player, I think he's gonna
eventually transition to AD being the man.
Yeah, he's always deferred. He's always been a pass guy. Maybe not pass first, but he's been willing to pass the ball. I think he's going to be more willing to pass the ball now. And too, Anthony Davis is younger than LeBron, and we've already just said LeBron's going to be sitting out some games. He might have the Kawhi Leonard thing where he sits out for 20-something games, just so that he can be LeBron in the playoffs.
Right.
You know, so I think it's a different dynamic because LeBron's older. They don't have the third superstar, and if they fill the roster out with the right guys, that's the key.
But that's my point. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is AD and LeBron right now enough? No, you're making the point is that they need to do it smartly, and that's where I was at. They have to have the right guys right now. You know, there's people right now that see LeBron and AD and this team's championship bound.
Well, I mean,
there's still more work to do.
I think the timing of this is what's key because you look at Golden State, they're taking a dive.
Good point.
You look at Houston, they're taking a dive.
Yeah.
So really, the only obstacle to me in their way is the Nuggets, and you could say Portland. I think Portland kind of benefited from matchups this year, but I think the Nuggets are a team on the rise. You remember last year they drafted a kid by the name of Porter.
Hasn't played yet.
And hasn't played yet. And he could have been the best player in the draft last year. This year they draft Bol late in the second round, who was viewed by many as a top 10 prospect. And same thing, kind of injuries. So they're taking swings at guys with high ceilings and getting good value for them in the draft. But I tend to think the Nuggets could be that team that stands in the way. Have they done it yet? No, they're young. Mm-hmm. But I kind of agree. Who are they going to land next? I would stay as far away from Kyrie as I could. If I'm a championship team right now, I'd stay away from Kyrie because what he did to the Boston locker room, he just totally crashed that and demoralized that team.
Yeah, but I think though that's the point that I'm making. Right. There's so many that just see those two right now and think it's champions. And there's so much more to still be that. They're still. They're better, and I'm not saying they're not. That's obvious. I mean, you have two, and like Caleb said.
Kuzma. I can't believe that. I can't believe that New Orleans didn't
get him in that
harp
deal.
On Kuzma in that deal.
Right.
I would have never taken Lonzo Ball. Ingram's a great player, but
they should have just taken that deal that they got offered last year.
Yeah, they
would have
should've-
got like 6 guys.
Yeah, they
and
should
draft
have
picks.
taken, but they got a ton of picks. But back to the Lakers, if they can add a 3-point guy like Kyle Korver or J.J. Redick, and then you got a guy out there like a Harrison Barnes, who averages about between 15, 17, 18 a game. I don't know, maybe he's your third guy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of viewpoint. If they get another max guy somehow, they don't.
Horford,
They don't have
Horford could be the guy to
They
go
don't
out there.
have anybody else to fill out the rest of this team,
Right.
and there's so many holes in them.
Right.
Yes, their starters are going to carry them, like we have seen. But what if one of those guys go down?
Right.
Man,
LeBron
we
just
see
suffered a
it
major injury. AD is hurt. If you look at
Right.
him, you look at AD, he's hurt.
He's never played.
He's
more than-
always hurt.
He's only played more than 70 games, like twice.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to stress here, that this is not enough. They still have some work to do, is the point that I'm making. This is not right now, I'm not sitting back going, okay, the Lakers are guaranteed a championship. Am I acknowledging the fact they can get there? Absolutely. I think next year LeBron has a pretty good chance to compete in the finals again and a chance to win it. But the Lakers still have things that they have to do. They got to surround the right players, and you don't have to spend. If you spend to get another superstar, again, you're one injury away from just being a decent team because you don't have the depth. You need the depth, and I think we've seen a little bit of that with Golden State this year when they had their superstar. And I know it's hard when you lose 2 superstars. Like, I
Right.
get that. But I always felt like the Warriors bench and the Warriors roster themselves, they did have a lot of depth. But when you actually seen it, they really didn't. They couldn't score. They just play roles really well with those other guys, and it kind of fools you. Same thing can kind of be done here with LA if they waste on another superstar contract. I think, Caleb, like you said, the smartest thing to do is to get those second-tier guys and fill out that way. If they do that, my goodness, you put LeBron James and J.J. Redick on the same, and J.J.'s probably going to have to take a pay cut. J.J. just made $17 million last year to do something like that. But
you
can you
get him
imagine
for like $10 million and get a Harrison Barnes type for $10 million.
Right.
Can you imagine J.J. and LeBron?
Well,
I mean, that's just.
Yeah.
Give LeBron a shooter like
or
that.
Danny
That's
Green.
money. Or Danny Green. But, I
Yeah.
mean, you give LeBron a deadly, lethal shooter like that.
I think a guy like Trevor Ariza could help too.
A
A veteran who
two-way
can shoot
player.
threes.
Right.
Good.
And
he's still a good defender. He's not. The
And
defender he
Ariza's
was.
a guy that you could get as probably at the veteran minimum,
Right.
or the player exception, or whatever the heck.
I mean,
that
a guy
is. I
like
think-
Kent Bazemore would be good.
Yeah.
Somebody to come off the bench. I mean, there's a lot of free agents out there that they
George
can
Hill.
look at. Yeah, George Hill's a
Chris
guy.
Middleton's a free agent, but he's
Chris
probably going to get a
Middleton
max
is
deal.
optimistic. Yeah, he's going to get.
But he would.
That's a guy to me that's not a max guy. He's good.
He's not, but he's going.
And that's
going
what
to get it.
happens in the NBA. There's so many guys that get max contracts that are just not max contracts. Like, if you're looking for Chris Middleton to be your superstar and carry the team by yourself, and you blow that money, you're not going to get the results. Chris Middleton is a guy that is a good compliment to somebody.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's my goodness, but.
Yeah, I'd say that's 100%. How do these guys get paid this money is insane.
It blows my mind, and it's one of these things where, with the Lakers, I acknowledge they are going to be right there, but they got work to do, and that's the whole point that I'm making. You know, a championship, pump the brakes, and I do understand that teams are down. There are some teams going to be on the rise. Keep in mind, there's going to be some moves in free agency that are going to make teams stronger this year as well.
Right.
Maybe not quite as, because KD is not going to be available this year. So even if you get a combination, let's say Brooklyn gets KD and Kyrie. Brooklyn's not going to win this year. They don't have KD.
Right.
So they're a year away. You know, something like that. We don't know how everything else is going to play out with other teams, but I'm not going to sit here and claim that, and they're the favorites. If you look, the favorites to win it next year are the Lakers. I'm not crowning them champions next year. It's just not enough for me yet.
And
I want to see how LeBron and AD is going to work. I understand your point about if you don't add another superstar, that could change things. That's very interesting. I would admit. I would like to see that. It very much could be that case.
And for $24 million, I mean, a guy I haven't mentioned is Kyle Kuzma still there.
Right. And that, oh my gosh, how do they
who's
not?
a player?
As Josh said that. Josh, you just said that. How do they not get him involved in that deal for your New Orleans?
Right.
I mean, they'll allow the Lakers to keep Kuzma.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really think in the end, Los Angeles won the trade. I mean, New Orleans got,
and they did well in the draft.
Pick.
New Orleans got a ton of players.
They did.
They took a lot of swings.
They did, but I'll say, are those guys? And it's going to be a wait and see kind of deal. Are those guys going to be the equivalent and the same caliber of player that Anthony Davis is. Because when you trade someone who's a top 5 player in the league, I get that he didn't take you very far in the playoffs, but he's still a top 5 player in the league. And he's going to make the Lakers a lot better, obviously, than they were last year. The guys you're getting in return and the guys you're drafting, overall, is your team going to be still the same? Are you still going to be a first-round, second-round team? I think in order for New Orleans to win this trade, they've got to eventually win a championship, because it's to me, it's inevitable that the Lakers, whether it's this year or next year, are going to make it to the finals, and more than likely within the next 3 years will probably win a championship. Depending upon, I mean, they made a move like this to get a guy like Anthony Davis and didn't give up their best young player in Kyle Kuzma. And so now they have an opportunity to, with $24 million in cap space, to sign some guys who not only will be veterans and just take the league minimum, but actually will go there and sign. Like, look at a guy like Malcolm Brogdon. How much is he going to be asking for? He's a free agent this year. If he's asking for,
I think he's a restricted though, so it's going to be much tougher to acquire him.
Yeah, but they're going to drive the price up on him.
Oh
too.
yeah. Somebody can offer him, and he can sign an offer sheet, and that happens all the time.
Right. So I just think it's going to be interesting. It all depends on what the Lakers do and the pieces they add around them. Right now, obviously, they only have 5 signed players or 5 players under contract, 5 or 6 players. So obviously, they're not a championship team right now.
Right.
But their name is in the mix.
Oh yeah, because of those guys, but there's still work to do.
I mean, that's with every team, though. I mean,
I think if they go after another max guy and make that work,
that's the dumbest decision.
It's the dumbest thing they could do.
They got to sign.
Can they win a championship? Yes, we've seen that before. The Heat won championships with just having 3 main guys, and I guess Ray Allen got added to it. But,
well, I mean, that was a different NBA too. I mean, now with the way that Golden State has won, when the Heat won, it was because they had Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh, mainly Dwayne Wade and LeBron, and they had 2 big-time superstars. Golden State had 4. Well, actually 5 if you count DeMarcus Cousins. And so, the NBA's changed in a way that it's played and the way that you win. It's more about team basketball, because San Antonio come back the year after and just destroyed the Heat. And since that point, it's been team basketball and Golden State moving the ball around. Obviously, having 3 of the best shooters in the league is a help too. But it'll be interesting to see who they add around LeBron and AD to get to that championship. Right. Because it can't. If they go and try to add a max player, it's not going to work.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up the discussion. We'll take a break.